He won the money, he walked away, then he came back. But in Season 3, Gi-hun does something that changes everything, and fans are split over why. Was it justice? Was it revenge? Or did he finally become part of the very system he swore to destroy? The ending of Squid Game Season 3 isn't just a plot twist, it's a statement about power, about identity, and about how even the best intentions can get swallowed whole in a rigged game. If you're confused, frustrated, or still trying to figure out what it all meant, you're not alone. Let's break it down. Simply, to understand Gi-hun's final decision, we need to rewind just a bit. Back to the ending of Season 2. After winning the first game and surviving the trauma that came with it, Gi-hun was left with more money than he could ever spend, and a heart more broken than he could ever repair. He didn't touch the money at first. He barely lived. He was haunted by what he'd seen. The deaths of people he cared about, the betrayal, the manipulation, the system. But something changed when he discovered the truth. That the games were still going. That people like him were still being recruited. That nothing had really changed. Even after everything. So instead of boarding that plane to America, he turned around. And just like that, Season 2 ended with a promise. I'm going to find out who's really behind this. And stop them. Enter Season 3. From the opening moments, Gi-hun is a changed man. Gone is the wide-eyed, passive survivor. In his place stands a man with purpose. A man who's angry. A man who's ready to burn the system down. But how do you destroy a system that operates in the shadows? By going inside. So in Season 3, Gi-hun infiltrates the games. Not as a player this time, but as a ghost. He works his way into the lower ranks of the organization. He studies the rules, learns the players, gains allies, fakes loyalties, and slowly climbs up the ladder, waiting for his moment to strike. And then it happens. The new version of the game is announced. It's not the same as before. It's more advanced, more global, more psychological than physical. And yet, the stakes are higher than ever. The promise? The winner doesn't just get money. They get access. A key to the organization's inner circle. A chance to reshape the game itself. For Gi-hun, it's everything he's been waiting for. But there's one catch. He has to play again. Not from the outside. Not as a spy. As a contestant. That's the setup that leads us to the final game. And the moment that redefines Gi-hun forever. The final game in Squid Game Season 3 wasn't about strength. It wasn't even about survival. It was about control. This time, the players weren't competing in a physical deathmatch. They were placed in a psychological scenario designed to break their beliefs, pit them against one another, and expose who they really were, not what they could physically endure. The game? The vote. Each player was given the power to vote others out of the game. Every vote was anonymous. Every round, the player with the most votes would be eliminated, permanently. No one could abstain. No alliances were safe. No truths could be trusted. The twist? There were no guards, no masked figures. The game was entirely self-regulated and monitored remotely. It was a perfect social experiment. Players eliminated each other, and justified it. In the beginning, Gi-hun tried to hold people together. He urged transparency, fairness, and collaboration. But as paranoia spread, players turned. Lies bloomed. Friends betrayed each other. One by one, people who had trusted Gi-hun, who believed he was different, were voted out. And eventually, executed off-screen by the system. Now let's talk about who was involved. Gi-hun wasn't alone in this game. By now, he had built fragile alliances. Yumi, a former social worker who lost everything to debt and entered to expose the game. Min-jun, a younger contestant who saw Gi-hun as a mentor figure and director. Oh, a high-ranking organizer who secretly joined the game to monitor Gi-hun's infiltration. These weren't just plot devices. Each represented a side of Gi-hun himself. Yumi stood for his empathy. Min-jun stood for his guilt. Director Oh stood for the power Gi-hun could claim. If he gave in, as the vote rounds continued, Gi-hun tried to use logic and trust. But when Yumi was eliminated, despite having helped nearly everyone survive a challenge, something inside him cracked. By the final round, it was just 3 people left: Gi-hun, Min-jun, Director Oh. And this is where the show delivered its gut punch. Gi-hun could vote to eliminate either one. Or, and here's the final twist, he could choose to remove himself. If he left voluntarily, the remaining 2 would win joint control over the system. But if he stayed and eliminated one more player, he'd win alone. Everything he fought for, access, control, the power to change the game, was within reach. And he chose to eliminate Min-jun, the youngest, the most innocent, the one who trusted him the most. With 1 vote, Gi-hun secured total victory. And just like that, Squid Game Season 3 ended. The man who once swore to burn the system down had just used it to win. This ending shattered fans. Not because it was unclear, but because it was too clear. Gi-hun's final move wasn't a mistake. It wasn't desperation. It was strategic. It was intentional. And it was terrifying. Let's be clear, this was never about revenge anymore. Season 2 set him on that path. Season 3 showed us how far he'd come, and how far he was willing to go. By the time he reached that final vote, Gi-hun wasn't acting from rage. He was acting from conviction. He believed that if he controlled the system, he could end the games for good, fix it from the inside, reshape it in his image. But that's the trap. That's the lie every power structure tells the one trying to dismantle it. You can fix it if you become it. Gi-hun's trauma reshaped him. He had seen so many people die. He had lived with survivors' guilt. He had watched the system rebuild itself, even after being exposed. He knew that mercy didn't work. Transparency didn't work. Playing fair didn't work. So, in that final moment, he made the choice the old Gi-hun never could have. He became the system, to break the system. But here's the question the finale leaves us with. Did he actually break it? Or did it break him? Because if you look closely, Gi-hun's final act wasn't just ruthless. It was familiar. It looked a lot like the very people he once hated. The front man, the VIPs, the puppet masters. He silenced an innocent for what he believed was the greater good. He took control and believed that power would justify his loss. That's not justice. That's not resistance. That's the transformation of a man into a myth. And myths don't save people. They rule them. By choosing to win alone, Gi-hun might have ended the game as we knew it. But he began something else entirely. A new game. One where he's no longer a player, but something more dangerous. A believer. The brilliance of Squid Game has never just been in the games themselves. It's in what the games represent. In Season 1, they represented capitalism at its most extreme, turning the desperate into disposable entertainment for the wealthy. In Season 2, they shifted toward revenge, guilt, and personal consequence. What happens when you survive a broken system? But Season 3? Season 3 flipped the camera inward. It asked, what happens when you stop fighting the system and start managing it? Gi-hun's arc isn't just tragic, it's thematic. He enters the series as a symbol of innocence and broken idealism. He's poor, flawed, but human. He believes in fairness, connection, mercy. But by the end of Season 3, he's made the same decisions the VIPs made. The same rationalizations, the same justifications. He's convinced that the only way to win is to play dirtier than the game itself. And that's the show's hardest truth. Systems don't corrupt people. They give people permission to become who they already feared they could be. Even though the final game looked different, No guards, no guns, no elaborate sets. The result was the same: death, power, and the illusion of choice. And that's what Squid Game 3 forces us to confront. Did Gi-hun win? Or did he just inherit the throne he once swore to destroy? Gi-hun's journey was never about survival. It was about meaning. He started as a man haunted by the lives he couldn't save. He became a man willing to sacrifice one more life to try and save them all. And that's the tension that lives in all of us. How much of yourself are you willing to give up to fix a broken world? The Squid Game ending doesn't give us closure. It gives us a mirror. It asks, if you were in Gi-hun's shoes, would you have voted differently? Because at some point, every system we think we're fighting starts shaping us. And if you're not careful, if you start believing that the end justifies the means, you stop being the player and start becoming the game. So what do you think? Did Gi-hun make the right choice in the end? Was he justified in eliminating Min-jun to take control? Or did he cross a line that no longer makes him a hero? Drop your theory in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you love shows that leave you questioning everything, this is the channel for you. Hit that like, smash subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another TV mystery. Explained simply? I'll see you in the next video.